Hi everyone, and welcome back. Today I want to take you along as we declutter my fridge and freezer. And it is such a good habit to get into, to just every so often to go through your fridge and to go through your freezer and to do a massive clear out of both. It's a great chance to get rid of anything that's expired, to clean out the area, because let's be honest, our fridges can get pretty disgusting. And also it's a great opportunity to organize what you have left over. And when it comes to these massive clear outs, I usually like to do them a couple of times a year, usually about once a quarter. And that's a schedule I found that works for me, but you might want to do it a bit more or less frequently, just depending on the state of your fridge. But looking at my fridge and freezer right now, they are most certainly in need of a detox. So I'm super excited just to take you along today and share with you my process, and hopefully this can inspire and motivate you and maybe give you some tips on how you can personally declutter, simplify, and organize your fridge. And I'm excited to get right into this, so if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button below for more videos coming at you twice a week on simple and intentional living. And let's get started. With projects like this, I like to declutter by area. So let's start off by tackling the fridge and then move on to our freezer. And the process I like to use when clearing out my fridge really just involves 4 simple steps. First, I like to analyze what's not working with my current setup. We've only been living in this house with this fridge for about 6 months, so I feel like at this point there's still a lot that I can continue to refine and improve with how I've got my fridge organized. But right now, I do feel like there are a couple of glaring issues. And the first is just that everything is kind of everywhere. Lately, I've just been coming home from the grocery store and kind of shoving things in wherever they fit. And that's resulted in there being no real plan or flow to where things belong in the fridge, and it can be difficult to find things right now because everything is scattered throughout, and I want to create systems where I'm grouping like items together so it's easier to find what I need. And then the second big issue we've been running into is the fact that Christopher and I have been trying to eat a lot more healthily in the past month or so, and as a result have been eating a lot more fruits and vegetables. Now, of course, that's a good thing, but the problem we've been running into is the fact that the typical places in your fridge where you're supposed to store fruits and vegetables is way at the bottom of the fridge, meaning that when we're looking for something to eat, when we want a snack, we're looking at what's in eye's reach. And so I've been trying to put fruits there so that we can kind of access them, but then we end up having like loose apples and nectarines and peaches just kind of scattered about our fridge because I'm trying to place those items where they're going to be, most easily accessible. And so what I need is some kind of system for being able to contain my fruits and my vegetables so that they're at eye level, they're easy to reach for, but they're kind of contained, so they're not just kind of loose items scattered about the space. So those are the 2 big problems that I've identified that as I go through and reorganize my fridge in a moment, I really want to try to solve for. But what I'm going to do now is write those things down so I remember them, and then we can move on to the second step of this process, which is just taking everything out of the fridge and decluttering anything that's expired, that's gone bad, or that we simply tried and didn't like or don't think that we're going to finish. So let's open up the fridge now and get to it. Okay, so everything is now out in front of me on the counter, and what I next want to do is really 2 things. First, I want to group all of the similar items together. So all of our condiments I want to put together, all of our drinks and beverages I want to put in one place, fruits and vegetables will go in another. So I want to get everything kind of grouped into areas, and while I'm doing that, the other thing that I want to do is just look at all of the expiration dates, look at the labels on everything for the fruits and vegetables, just see if they're good or not, and really just go through and take out anything that's gone bad, that's expired, maybe that's stale or moldy. So we're going to group things together, we're going to declutter, and then before we put everything back, the last thing that I want to do is go into our fridge and do just a deep clean and really try to wipe down all of the drawers and all of the shelves. So let's begin this just by decluttering and organizing, and then I'll show you where we're at. And as you're going through this, one thing that I find really helpful is if you find two of the same container that are open and they have the same product, so these are two classic flavor hummuses, just combine those so you can reduce the actual amount of what you have stored in your fridge just to one container. Okay, so we just went through and literally just purged so much food. There were empty containers, there was stuff that had gone bad, there were other things that just needed to be combined because I had multiple of the same thing open. So we got a lot of good work done here. I want to walk you through what we have, and then we're going to clean out our fridge, just kind of wipe everything down, give it a good scrub, and then we can talk about how we're going to put it back in a way that's just going to be more functional, more organized, and hopefully be able to create a system that's a bit easier to maintain as far as just keeping things tidy on an ongoing basis. Okay, so the fridge is now completely clear, got everything out and put it on the counter. Let me flip you around and show you that. Okay, so here's what we're working with. We have milk, kind of all of the things for the deli drawer, so hot dogs, cheeses, some deli meat, fruits and vegetables, lots and lots of condiments. I have some drinks, and then over here I have bread, butter, garlic, some chicken leftovers, and our eggs. And then over here we have this kind of gross pile of some empty bags from things being condensed, and then all the food that we had that had gone bad. It had either wilted, was, goodness, like 2 months past being expired. Same with this. This lemon was just like curled up and so smushy that I don't really want to eat it. So yeah, this is our getting rid of food pile. So now I'm going to clean out the fridge, and then we can work on putting everything back where it belongs. Okay, so the fridge is now all wiped down, and that is definitely one of those tasks that is not fun at all to do in the moment, but it looks and it feels so much better once you actually do it. Now though, it's time to start putting our food back in the fridge. And going back to what we were talking about earlier of trying to solve some of the problem areas in our fridge, I think the first thing that we wanted to do was really just to group items together in the fridge so it's easy to see what I have on hand. And I think that the way that we have everything organized on the counter is going to make it so much easier to do just that. But then the second thing I wanted to do was to make it easier to access my fruits and vegetables. And so kind of to that end, I picked up these two containers that I want to store my fruits and vegetables in one of the top few shelves in our fridge. And that way it's kind of at eye level. It's really easy to reach and to get to. And it also is a really easy way of containing everything to make sure that I don't have loose apples kind of scattered about my fridge. And what I really like about these containers, I'll link them down below if you want to check them out, is just that they're really deep, so they take up a lot of square footage in my fridge, meaning that it's just going to be easier to reach and to get to things, and I'm actually making full use of the depth of my fridge instead of just having something that like ends here and then there's an entire empty back section of the fridge and we're just not using all of the real estate we have available to us. So let's finish this off. We're at step 4 for the fridge, and it's time to put away what we want to keep. Okay, and here is the finished product. So excited with how it turned out. Let me give you a quick tour. Okay, so up here we kind of have our dairy section. I have eggs, yogurt, and my 2 oat milks. Down here we have the vegetables, spinach, things like that. Fruit is on the next shelf. On this shelf I have some leftovers, some bread. We keep it in the fridge so it lasts longer. And then some sauces that we use for snacking and then also for baking back there. In here we have our meats and cheeses. And then down here we have our potatoes. They last forever if you keep them in the fridge. So I've just got a dedicated drawer for those. Got drinks in this one. And then up here we have butter, some garlic cloves, and Chick-fil-A sauces. Milk, cold brew coffee. And then on these 3 shelves I have all of our condiments. They are extremely thin shelves. They don't fit that much. So just kind of working with what we've got. But overall, I'm so excited with how this fridge turned out. It looks so amazing. Okay, so I'm obsessed with how the fridge came out. It looks just night and day different, which is so exciting. And I really do feel like the system that we've got going on in there is going to be so much easier to implement because we actually have dedicated shelves to just different categories of food. Now though, what I quickly want to do is run through that exact same process with our freezer. And we've already done this once, so it should be a lot easier to do the second time around. So first, we're just going to analyze what's not working with the current setup. And I think the biggest challenge with our freezer is that like items just aren't grouped together, so it's really hard to find what you're looking for when you open the freezer. So my big note for this one is just to group things together in a way that makes sense. With that in mind though, let's now take everything out, eliminate what we don't need, and wipe everything down. And here's the trash pile for our freezer stuff. For the most part, I was just condensing things. So I had 2 frozen loaves of bread, combined those. Same thing with these mango chunks, chicken, all of these I just really condensed. And then I had a couple of extra sauce packets too that belong to a type of chicken that we just don't have anymore and didn't really enjoy. Okay, so the freezer is now done as well. I didn't stop to chat quite as much that time as when you're working with things that belong in the freezer. You just kind of have so much time before you start letting things thaw, get freezer burnt, all of that. So it was really just a kind of do it, get it done, and now I'm really happy with the end result. So let me walk you through that really quickly, and then I just have a couple parting tips that I want to share with you. Okay, so for a quick tour, we have all of our frozen vegetables up here. Our ice cream flavors down here. We love trying and enjoying different flavors of ice cream, even though we don't have it all that often. Then I have all of my smoothie ingredients down here. I have a smoothie most mornings, so it's really easy to access those, especially since that is the kind of tallest of the drawers, so it's just easy to get in and out. I have some kind of more of the Asian-inspired frozen foods, so pot stickers, stir-fry ingredients, things like that on the bottom shelf, and then kind of more Italian and just plain chicken style meats in that shelf. And then up here I have our ice packs. Here are some popsicles and other frozen treats, my frozen bread, and then finally just some other frozen meats that we had on hand. So let me open up the fridge door, and this is the finished product. Got the fridge and freezer side by side, and honestly, this just looks so much better than it did before. And I love the fact that everything is really just organized by type, by kind. So it's going to be so much easier to put things away now and to keep it organized. Just grabbed myself a seat because I'd been standing for a while, but overall I'm so happy with how this fridge and freezer declutter and organization went. Just looking at the before and after, it really does feel like a night and day difference in terms of how useful the space is going to be for us and just how easy it is to see what we have. It's really funny that when we aren't staying on top of what we have in our fridge, things just kind of pile up until we get to a point where we have tons of things that have gone bad, or sometimes there literally are like empty bags in our fridge or empty containers in our fridge. And it's just important that we go through and get rid of the excess every so often so that we can just stick to the essentials. So I hope you guys enjoyed coming along with me as we organized and decluttered my fridge today, and hopefully this gives you some motivation or inspiration to go through, to detox, and to clear out your fridge. Now though, I would love to know, do you have any tips for organizing a fridge or freezer? Be sure to comment those down below. I would love to hear about them. And if you enjoyed this video, and I really hope you did, it would mean the world to me if you would just hit that like button. It's something small that you can do, but it really helps my channel to grow. And of course, if you're new around here, I'm so glad that you joined for this video. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button below. I post new videos on here every week about simple and intentional living, and I'd love to have you join me. That's everything for today's video though. Thank you so much for coming along with me and for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.